Hi there, welcome to the night before Christmas class for Class in the Box 6. We are creating this cute layout that's going to have a kind of a faux envelope effect on which we will mount our photo. I do like a little bit of cute detail. I have cut out the evergreen sheet, which is 8x4, and the holiday wishes, which are, you'll need two 6x2. Please bear in mind that we didn't have the 6x8 paper pad when we created the classes. So please use your 6x8 pad because you can save for 12x12 papers for lots more projects. And they're all the same. So it's, when I've used these, please feel free to use your paper pad instead. So what I've done then is created these two flaps. The instructions are or the dimensions are in your instructions, but just see here that I've adhered them back to the evergreen paper, and it's supposed to give you kind of a feel of an envelope. And one thing I'm going to do, because we didn't have enough papers without that paper pad, so I started using the packaging from my stencils because it's beautiful. All the Vicky Booting packaging is beautiful, so don't throw those things away, and you can utilise those. And you can see I've used mine, that pop of green. I shall be using that for my photo mat. We're just going to lay down some colour here using some Distress Oxide ink. I've used Kitsch Flamingo, but please feel free to substitute for an ink pad that you have. Or equally, if you want to change the colour, just choose a coordinating colour and you can really make it your own. So I'm using a kind of a dense brush and then lightly starting from the middle outwards to kind of get a bit of an even tone. And we'll just want to make sure that just reaches beyond your photo mat and so on. I think in the end I end up having to add a bit more anyway, so you might want to go a bit further. And I'm just going to spritz with some ink here, add some splatters. So I think I used Barn Door. I've smooshed it onto the back of my messy mat, spritzed it with water, and then I've just used a little round paintbrush to splatter that onto the background. And while that's drying, I'm just going to set those two buttons. So I've got a button either side on those flaps. So just find the centre, poke your holes and then sew those in. Now there were supposed to be the shiny stripy red buttons that were in your kit, but I forgot to bring them with us when I went away. So I ended up with some wooden buttons, which now are in your kit as well. So you can use either those little candy stripe buttons that came in your kit or the wooden ones, up to you. So I'm just setting a button either side, as you can see here. Use a bit of embroidery floss or whatever you've got, a bit of string, twine, it doesn't really matter. And then you want to set the button on the other side. So you can use the same twine. I've just used some white crochet thread as my go-to kind of sewing twine. Because it's quite thick, it's really cheap, so a great big roll will cost, a few pounds. I think I got this one on holiday, if I'm not mistaken. Very sad holiday here. I do like to go and find things on holiday if I can. You might not get at home. And what I'm going to do then is actually just tie more twine between those two buttons, as you can see here. Just tidy that up, and then I'm going to twist, 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 and go as many layers as you wish. And I forgot I had snowflake charm in your kit, so I've hung one of those off mine. But you could add some little tags, you could really go to town there and dangle all sorts of little cute things to add a little bit more interest as you wish. So I think this is the first layout I created with the kit. So Julia and I are away, so we can play together as it were. And I'm surprised but how many die cuts are in those packs. They're just huge. So I didn't keep them separate, so they might be mixed up between the ephemera and the journal die cuts, I think is the other pack. So, just substitute as you wish, whichever ones suit you. Now we've got all 6 layouts. We try not to use the same product, so you don't have to choose if you don't want to. But equally, if you prefer something else, we are not offended if you want to go that way. So it'll take me all day just to choose there. So on the bottom left hand side there, I'm making another cluster to balance out my page. And I do like these little die cuts, but I think it got a straight edge. So I just wanted to notch it out to make it look like a little banner. Right, I'm sticking down now. I decide afterwards that I need a little bit more oomph below that envelope. So you'll see I'm doing mine retrospectively, but actually if I were doing it again, I would have gone a bit further down with my stenciling, so it goes below that photo mat, because I add some little foliage below my photo, and I wanted something to ground it, so I just did a little bit more stenciling, exactly as I did before. So we can add on some of the chipboard title and do more stenciling. As I say, I think I just like things to be grounded onto the page. So I did more stenciling here, but I think I've ended up covering it all up by the looks of it. So you can see it in real life, but perhaps not on the photos. So I've used that 25 tag. I'm not sure if I cut that down now, I think I did. And then I've just used another tag behind it, just as a bit of colour and pattern. So you could use any tag because I covered most of it up anyway. And I just think I like a bit of white space, but I can't cope with it. So you tend to find my layouts, I end up kind of losing that white space somewhere. And then the little birdie journal tag or strip, I've mounted onto foam tape for a bit of dimension. And I do tuck one of those chipboard stars behind there as well on the final layout. So here we go. There was so much in this kit. It was a new kit. You kind of forget what's in there, and there's so much in there. I thought, well, we can just do with some more layers. So I've added some of the die cut layers behind my photo. Let's just check. It's hard to think what I've done now. So, in fact, what I do in the final photo then, or the final layout, is use one of those big chipboard stars, and then I've loaded some of the foliage, die-cut foliage on top. I mean, basically, we're just making a cluster and a bit more interest, so whatever floats your boat. There are a heck of a lot of stars in this in that pack, so you might find you want to use some of those up on here. So one of the things that we've done in this kit for the first time then is included some dies, because I'm a real fan of dies. So I've die cut some of the foliage using those, and it's quite bright green, isn't it? I bought the cardstock. I'm not sure if it represented the colour that was shown online, but it's kind of nice to have a bit of a bright green actually, just to contrast against all the dark greens and so on. But if you want to, you could die cut some of that packaging, and that will give you a great effect for the foliage as well. So that's just added another little interesting cluster down that bottom right hand side there. And just, cut a few I mean, just cut a whole bunch of leaves and that foliage out. And then, you can just add it to your layouts as you're going along, and that'll make your life much quicker. So one of the things I'd like to do is trim off some of the excess white around the die cuts. Some of them are a bit too much for my taste, so I've just trimmed off the bits that I can see, because a lot of it will be hidden. So I need to put my teeth in. I'm just getting over a cold, and so I sound a bit nasally, and my apologies for that. So realistically, the rest of the layout now is just adding the bits and pieces, which you'll see in the final close-ups and so on. So I shall leave you with some music. Don't forget to check your instructions for those dimensions. And if you get stuck at all, just give us a shout, and we'll be happy to help. I hope you enjoy the rest of the class, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care now. Bye.